The 2024 presidential election is shaping up to be one of the most consequential in American history. The stakes have never been higher, and the nation is watching closely. Former President Donald Trump is seeking a return to the White House, aiming to reclaim his position and continue his agenda. He is facing off against incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris, who is determined to make history as the first female president of the United States. With just weeks to go, the race is incredibly tight. Polls show a nation divided, with each candidate having a strong base of support. New concerns are emerging that could tip the scales in this already volatile election. Issues such as healthcare, the economy, and national security are at the forefront of voters' minds. A series of October surprises has injected even more uncertainty into the race. These unexpected events have the potential to change the course of the election dramatically. From international crises to domestic unrest, these events have the potential to sway voters and reshape the political landscape. The candidates are responding to these challenges in real time, trying to reassure the public. The American people are on edge. The uncertainty and high stakes of this election have created a tense atmosphere across the country. The economy is still recovering from the pandemic. Many Americans are concerned about job security and financial stability. International tensions are running high. Global conflicts and diplomatic challenges are adding to the sense of urgency in this election. The political climate is more polarized than ever. Social media is amplifying divisions, and public discourse is increasingly heated. Voters are looking for leadership, stability, and a clear vision for the future. They want a leader who can navigate these turbulent times and bring the country together. Both Trump and Harris are vying to convince the American people that they are the right person for the job. Their campaigns are working tirelessly to sway undecided voters. But with so much at stake, the outcome of this election remains uncertain. Every vote will count, and the nation is bracing for a potentially contentious result. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining the direction of the country. As the countdown to Election Day continues, all eyes are on the candidates and the unfolding events that will shape America's future.
Looming over the 2024 election is the long shadow of the 2020 election. The controversies and disputes from that year continue to cast a pall over the current political landscape, influencing both candidates and voters alike. Trump continues to make claims about widespread voter fraud, asserting that the election was stolen from him. These claims have been a central theme in his public appearances and speeches. Despite numerous recounts and legal challenges failing to substantiate his allegations, Trump and his supporters remain steadfast. The courts have repeatedly found no evidence to support the claims, yet the narrative persists. These claims have eroded trust in the electoral process among some segments of the population. The divide is palpable, with heated debates and protests becoming a common sight across the nation. The recent release of documents by Special Counsel Jack Smith has further inflamed tensions. These documents have brought new details to light, adding fuel to an already raging fire. The documents allegedly detail Trump's efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. They paint a picture of a concerted effort to challenge the outcome through various means. Trump maintains his innocence, calling the investigation a politically motivated witch hunt. He argues that the efforts to investigate him are driven by partisan interests. His supporters echo these sentiments, viewing the investigation as an attempt to prevent him from regaining power. They see him as a champion fighting against a corrupt system. However, the allegations have undoubtedly energized Trump's base. The fervor and enthusiasm at his rallies are a testament to their unwavering support. They view him as a victim of political persecution and are more determined than ever to see him back in the White House. Their resolve has only strengthened in the face of adversity. The question remains, will these allegations sway undecided voters, or will they simply serve to further polarize an already divided nation? As the election approaches, the impact of these events on the broader electorate is yet to be seen. The stakes are high, and the nation watches with bated breath.
The economy is always a top issue in presidential elections, and 2024 is no exception. The COVID-19 pandemic had a profound impact on the global economy, and the United States is still grappling with the after-effects. Inflation remains a concern for many Americans, as prices for everyday goods and services continue to rise. The stock market, while showing signs of recovery, is still volatile. Trump argues that the Biden-Harris administration's policies are to blame for the economic uncertainty. He points to rising inflation and the ongoing supply chain crisis as evidence of their mismanagement. Harris, on the other hand, defends the administration's record, highlighting the low unemployment rate and the recent economic growth. She argues that the economy is on the right track and that Trump's policies would only jeopardize the progress that has been made.
International relations have taken center stage in the election, particularly the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The recent exchange of missile fire between Israel and Iran has raised fears of a wider conflict. The Biden-Harris administration has condemned Iran's actions and pledged its unwavering support for Israel. However, the administration has also urged restraint from both sides, fearing a spiral of violence that could destabilize the entire region. Trump has criticized the Biden-Harris administration's handling of the situation, accusing them of weakness and appeasement. He has voiced strong support for Israel's right to defend itself, even hinting that he would consider military action against Iran if elected. This hawkish stance has resonated with some voters, particularly those who are concerned about Iran's nuclear ambitions. However, others fear that Trump's rhetoric could lead to a dangerous escalation of hostilities.
Adding to the economic anxieties is the ongoing strike by dock workers at ports along the east and Gulf coasts. This strike has created a ripple effect, impacting not just the ports but the entire supply chain network that relies on these crucial hubs. The strike, organized by the International Longshoremen's Association, has brought cargo traffic to a standstill, further disrupting already strained supply chains. With cargo containers piling up and trucks waiting in long lines, the situation is becoming increasingly dire for businesses that depend on timely deliveries. The strike is primarily over wages and benefits, with the ILA arguing that its members deserve a larger share of the profits they help generate. The union members are steadfast in their demands, believing that their hard work and dedication should be adequately compensated, especially in these challenging economic times. The Biden-Harris administration has urged both sides to return to the negotiating table, emphasizing the strike's negative impact on the economy. They have highlighted the importance of resolving this dispute quickly to prevent further economic fallout and ensure the smooth functioning of supply chains. However, the administration has so far resisted calls to intervene directly in the labor dispute. They believe that a negotiated settlement is the best way forward, despite mounting pressure from various stakeholders to take more decisive action. Trump has seized on the strike as further evidence of the Biden-Harris administration's incompetence, accusing them of siding with labor unions over American businesses and consumers. He has used this issue to rally his base, promising a different approach if he were in power. He has promised to take a hard line against the strikers if elected, vowing to reopen the ports and get the economy moving again. His supporters believe that his tough stance will bring a swift resolution to the crisis, restoring normalcy to the supply chains and boosting economic activity.
As if the political landscape wasn't tumultuous enough, Hurricane Helene recently slammed into the southeastern United States, causing widespread damage and displacement. The Category 4 hurricane brought with it torrential rainfall, powerful winds, and a dangerous storm surge, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Thousands of homes and businesses were damaged or destroyed, and millions were left without power. The Biden-Harris administration has mobilized federal resources to assist with the recovery efforts, including deploying FEMA personnel, providing financial assistance to affected individuals and businesses, and working to restore power and critical infrastructure. Harris visited the region, touring damaged areas and meeting with residents and local officials. She pledged the full support of the federal government, promising to stand with the affected communities throughout the long process of rebuilding.
Trump's playbook: chaos as a strategy. Trump, never one to miss an opportunity to capitalize on a crisis, has also been critical of the Biden-Harris administration's response to Hurricane Helene. He has accused them of being slow to react and of failing to provide adequate assistance to those in need. Trump has also used the hurricane to attack Biden's age and mental fitness, questioning his ability to handle the demands of the presidency. This tactic of sowing discord and exploiting chaos is a familiar one for Trump. Throughout his time in the public eye, he has consistently sought to benefit from division and instability. Whether it's stoking racial tensions, undermining democratic institutions, or spreading misinformation, Trump seems to thrive in environments where norms are being challenged and traditional sources of authority are under attack.
Harris's tightrope walk. The confluence of these crises presents a formidable challenge for Vice President Harris and her campaign. She must project an image of calm and steady leadership in the face of adversity, while also addressing the very real concerns of voters who are struggling with the economic fallout of the pandemic, the rising cost of living, and the threat of violence both at home and abroad. Harris must also contend with the sexism and racism that have plagued her political career. As the first woman and first person of color to hold the office of vice president, she faces a level of scrutiny and criticism that her predecessors never had to endure. Despite these challenges, Harris remains a formidable candidate. She is a skilled politician with a deep understanding of policy and a proven track record of public service.
The weight of October's surprises. These October surprises, coming so close to the election, have injected a new level of uncertainty into the race. It remains to be seen how these events will impact the final outcome. Will they motivate voters to rally around the incumbent party in times of crisis, or will they lead them to seek change by voting for the challenger? The 2024 election is shaping up to be a referendum not just on two candidates, but on the very soul of America. Voters will have to decide what kind of country they want to live in and what kind of future they want to build.
America at a crossroads. The 2024 election is about more than just who occupies the White House. It is about the direction of the country, the health of its democracy, and the role it will play in the world. The stakes have never been higher. The choices made by American voters in the coming weeks will have profound consequences for generations to come. As the campaign enters its final stretch, the American people are faced with a stark choice. Do they choose the familiar chaos of a Trump presidency, or do they opt for the stability and experience of a Biden-Harris administration? The answer to that question will determine the course of American history for years to come.